I mean, how can it not be with a V12 powering only the rear wheels? 2017 Aston Martin V12 Vantage Roadster with the 7-speed manual transmission. I'm stoked, guys. My first ever V12, and it's a V8 era Aston. If you guys have watched my other V8 Vantage reviews before, you know how much I love the V8 era Vantage, and it is just one of my all-time favorite sports cars, but that has a little bit of a flavor of GT. Now, with the V12, it's a little bit more in the direction of GT rather than sports car, because we, of course, have a 5.9 naturally aspirated V12 making 563 horsepower, 457 pound-feet of torque with a dogleg 7-speed manual transmission. It's actually a transaxle. So one of the great things about the V8 era Astons is that they had a transaxle because they were so focused on having optimal weight balance and chassis dynamics. So the engine, of course, is in the front, and it's actually front midship. With the V8, it's really far back. With the V12, those extra 4 cylinders, it is a little bit further forward, but still technically front midship. And it is an incredible engine, not to be outshined by the Voodoo in that 350R. Don't worry, we're reviewing that soon. Having the transaxle helps with weight distribution. And my God, what a fucking looker. But they pulled no punches. They focused on the foundational elements here. Double wishbone front, double wishbone rear, hydraulic steering, the front midship engine, the rear transaxle to help with that weight distribution, the top-down experience, V12 naturally aspirated engine. What more could you want? Only 395 V12S Roadsters were produced globally, with 116 of those being manual gearbox models, and 36 of those manual models went to the US. MSRP on these was $266,000. Current market value is ranging between 200 to 300K, depending on the spec, the mileage, the condition. We have carbon ceramic brakes standard, 3-stage adaptive dampers, and 19-inch wheels wrapped in P0 rubber, 255, 295 section widths. You got the swan doors and all these V8 era Astons. It opens up so you don't scrape on the curb and whatnot. Drop top experience. Gorgeous interior, guys. Absolutely gorgeous. Still, of course, have the handbrake here on the side. It's actually engaged right now, and it seems complicated, but it's actually pretty simple. Let's get used to it. Love the gauge cluster here. One of my all-time favorite gauge clusters in any vehicle, and it looks to be approximately the same as in the V8 Vantage. Maybe some slight subtle differences. We have our ECU, emotional control unit. As you can see here, 7-speed dogleg. So a little bit of a learning curve to get used to that. This is actually my first time driving a dogleg. Love how you have the seat controls right here, not on the side. This just feels like such a special cockpit. I mean, the carbon fiber, the leather, it is immaculate. I don't like that though. And all you got to do is you hold this and it folds away, and you get what I would consider a much more timeless interior design with that folded down. Now, we do need to put the top up because of audio reasons. So, with the push of a button, it's not the quickest, but it gets the job done. Ow, it's actually hitting my head. It is a very low roof line here. Makes it look gorgeous from the exterior, but yeah, my head's actually touching. I'm 6'1". I actually have longer legs, so I feel like a lot of people are gonna have issues with that. All right, we have a few different drive modes here. We're gonna put this into sport. And adaptive dampers we're gonna start in normal mode. We do have rev match, which works quite well, but if we hold sport, AM shift on, that's the auto rev match. We're gonna turn it off. There we go, AM shift off. And for the parking brake, lift up, press the button, and it's engaged. And for the watch heads out there, we got the Bulova Lunar Pilot high frequency quartz second watch worn on the moon. Dude, I'm pretty excited for this, considering how much I love the V8 Vantage. We are weighing more than 200 pounds heavier than the V8 Vantage, which is around 3,600. This is in the 3,800 pound range. First impressions. Already feels more GT. You can feel the added weight over that V8. Even though the engine is behind the front axle, let's get this down to second. Oh, that was a juicy little downshift. Ho ho ho! Oh, such beautiful throttle response. What a smooth engine too. My God. That is some serious grunt. You can feel it wiggle. So much power. The heel toe is not an issue. Now with the left-hand drive vehicles in the States, throttle is very much pushed up against the transmission tunnel. It's just a narrow throttle pedal. Just don't rotate your foot too much, and it's not an issue at all to heel toe this thing. My God. Amazing steering. Very communicative. Getting a bit of cowl shake though. You can feel the reduced rigidity of this over the hardtop V8 Vantage. Definitely a big step in the GT direction over the V8 Vantage. Let's change the dampers here to sport now. We were just in normal. And I gotta give you guys a pull. Traction limited. And this shifted there into fourth. You gotta, again, a bit of a learning curve here. You gotta remind yourself that up is now fourth, and where second was is now third, and extra to the left is where first is. Oh my God. These Pirelli P0 tires are not in great condition. I'm guessing they're far too old, which makes for a somewhat sketchy driving experience and doesn't allow you to put down that 563 horsepower to the rear wheels. Just the wave of power and torque. Let's actually get this even stiffer into track mode. This is the stiffest setting from these 3-stage adaptive dampers. Such a smooth engine, effortless power delivery, such an incredible piece. Although I wish the sound was a bit more forward. You can really feel it wiggle underneath you. It is playful. I mean, how can it not be with a V12 powering only the rear wheels? Wow. So, difference compared to the V8 Vantage, very much GT, a big step in the GT direction. And the price difference of this over the V8 Vantage, I mean, the V8 Vantage, depending on if you go pre or post 2009, the 4.3 liter versus the 4.7 liter V8, and even, I think it's before and after 2012, they did some other larger updates. The price there is like 40 to 60K. And this is, what, 4 times the price? And you're getting a much more special engine. It's much smoother, it's more powerful. You can feel the added weight, it is quite substantial. And when you go with the Roadster, you're paying a price, not just with regards to weight, but also chassis rigidity. You can really feel it. And don't get me wrong, I still very much appreciate what this car is. But because I love that V8 Vantage so much as a sports car that has a little bit of GT flavor, but is mostly a sports car, whereas this is more of a GT car, you're not getting that same level of sharpness and clear, precise communication through the chassis because of that reduced rigidity, the cowl shake. The steering is good, but not quite as sharp. Oh, bro, you're on a motorcycle. Why are you crossing double yellow on a motorcycle? For real, dude. It is such a narrow, it's such a narrow vehicle. My God. So, the steering here is still good, but not quite as clean of the signal. There's a little bit of noise to the steering, not quite as sharp and precise as the V8 Vantage. You can still feel good weight balance. Again, transaxle, front midship engine, but much heavier, and you can feel that added weight towards the front of the car as it is less willing to change direction compared to the V8 Vantage. The thing that actually surprises me is how much of a price difference there is between a V8 Vantage and this. Now granted, if you were to go V12 hardtop, how does that compare? I don't know. We haven't reviewed that yet. I would love to drive one. If you have one, fill out the form on jabalandcars.com. But comparing hardtop V8 Vantages to this Roadster, you're much more comfortable pushing the V8 Vantage. It's lighter, it's more communicative, tauter, tighter chassis. Let's give you one more pull. Wow. So effortless. Smooth waves of power and torque. I love it. Now, in track mode, the suspension is really firm, but it feels incongruent because you still have this cowl shake, and yet the suspension is really firm. It just doesn't feel right with the rest of the car. Again, with the hardtop variant, I wonder how that changes. But impressive that they have this large magnitude change from normal to sport to track mode with regards to the adaptive damper firmness. It's a cool car. I mean, the transmission is very similar to the V8 Vantage's 6-speed. Very, very similar. I would say that this is just like a little bit more slick, but more similar than different. Steering, a lot of these things are more similar than different. The main difference is going to be that engine and the weight, and again with the soft top, the compromises that come with that. But what a special car, and huge shout out to the owner Jackson for letting us review this V12 Vantage. The nice thing too, I was playing around with the auto rev match on the way up. It's actually very smooth and seamless if you don't want the added mental energy and bandwidth taken by having to focus on driving a dogleg versus a regular 6-speed. The VH era Aston Martins are just some of my all-time favorites. But my friends, let me know what you think with a comment down below. And if you want your car reviewed, visit us on jabalandcars.com. Fill out the form on the homepage. Much love, and I'll see you all in that next one.